other end. You may feel hopeless, but I'll never let you go. Fly through the stratosphere and then I'll rip and scream it from your soul. Oh, we'll watch it fall. Now your clouds are all gone. Come and set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. Today may be the last time I get to say your life's had meaning and you mattered most. The way you hold me like I am your everything has burned inside me, so we'll never be apart. Fly through the stratosphere and then I'll rip and scream it from your soul. Oh, we'll watch it fall. Now your clouds are all gone. Come and set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. Fly through the stratosphere and then I'll rip and screaming from your soul. Oh, we'll watch it fall. Now your clouds are all gone. Come and set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. You can turn my world upside down, a rush like I've not felt before. I can trust myself. I need you to make it turn. I know. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
We'll never be the same again. Welcome, everybody, and happy Monday to you all. We had Monday Night Raw tonight, a pretty dang good show. And yeah, Houston was pretty hot tonight. The crowd was excited for what they had in store. And not going to lie, I was kind of excited too, seeing what our card had in store. So, welcome, everybody, to the chat. I know there's some of you that are coming back for the umpteenth time to listen to the Weebs Of The Ring podcast. But of course, as always, if you're new around these parts, it's fine. It's all good. Grab a chair. Just come on. Easy. It's nice, warm, and cozy in here. But you're probably wondering, who are these guys on our screen? Well, we've got anime in our souls. We've got thoughts of wrestling out of control. And we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab a steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Animal Weed Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. That's right. Every single Monday night and Friday night, we come on here, talk about Raw, SmackDown, tell you, the good, the bad, the mediocre at best, and all that. And yeah, we get hyped up for the next big old PLE to come up, which this time around is SummerSlam, the big old party of the summer. And yeah, that card's looking pretty dang good. Probably, if I'm being honest, a little better, if not way better than WrestleMania 41 look. But as always, people, your hosts are here to talk about the night and all that. First and foremost, I am your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins, here to help guide us through the event, through these matches, these storylines, and all that, and hopefully give a couple little fun jabs or fun little winks, nods to any of our other nerdy things that we like and all that. But of course, never alone in this endeavor, for you see, there's a lovely gentleman right to my left here. He is known as the genius of the mat around these parts. He's the man that will help us process these stories, help us understand what's going on throughout the wrestling world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Drop This Box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I enjoyed Raw. I had a good time. It's going to be fun breaking down a couple of these stories on here to see what they did, because one thing I will say, I actually feel the hype heading into SummerSlam, unlike WrestleMania, because it feels like they're putting a lot of effort here. One thing I noticed that I brought up to my friends, it seems like a lot of these matches as well heading into SummerSlam are getting stipulations, so it's not like those typical regular matches, one-on-one, tag team match, triple threat, whatever it is. There's actual stipulations here for a lot of these like main matches on here, which makes things pretty interesting. So I mean, yeah, I thought they did a good job on paper, just building up to a couple of the matches and just storylines in general that they had tonight on Raw.
Oh yeah, no, I would agree full-heartedly. I'm enjoying this build a lot more than WrestleMania, and tonight was really good. Like on paper, it looked pretty good. One thing kind of stood out, but I think there's a storyline element to it that I think might play out during SummerSlam, but we'll talk about that when we get to it, obviously. Yeah, you know what? Let's just dive right in to all the action and all the stories and all the promos that we had tonight. Of course, our headline story tonight, we had our tribal chief Roman Reigns returning for the umpteenth time in his career in the past few years or whatever. It's become a meme that Roman Reigns returns and all that. And tonight's no different. He's returning to give a nice little promo, kind of a face-to-face here too, with Paul Heyman, which is something we've been needing since the end of WrestleMania 40, and especially 41 too. But especially after what happened at WrestleMania 40 when Roman just kind of left Paul to his to the rest of the bloodline, and all that stuff happened with him getting put to the table, War Games, and then WrestleMania 41 happened, all that fallout. So yeah, Roman's here to confront Paul Heyman, who is flanked by Braun, and I thought this was a really good promo because again, Roman just reminding everybody just who he is, like getting his acknowledgments in and all that, and basically calling Paul a dumbass in many instances. And I really like this because it's kind of showing that, because like Paul did have a reason to turn on Roman, because again, Roman did abandon him after WrestleMania 40, that is. So yeah, Paul did have every right to turn on Roman, but Roman here, he makes a couple lines here, and I kind of want to pick your brain with like wrestling history too with this, because like makes it a point to say that Paul never really like physically helped Roman win. Like he said, Solo helped him, the Usos helped him, even Sami Zayn helped him. And then he points out like Paul never really did that. But I'm trying to think to myself, I'm like, wait, I kind of remember Paul doing stuff here and there. Like the one that sticks out to me is, and this was during like the pandemic era, like the whole Thunderdome stuff, when he faced off against Kevin Owens. Wasn't Paul Heyman like involved in that finish with like the handcuffs and like the key and all that?
I believe so.
Yeah. So like when Roman was saying stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know 100% about that, buddy, but you know what? Go ahead and cook. Fine, whatever. Then Braun Breaker gets on the mic because, you call Paul Heyman a dumbass 3 times in a row. You're going to be ticking off this new big dog, which I love how they keep trying to like hold him back. And I'm not going to lie, Braun Breaker, the stuff he was saying was kind of basic, kind of bare bones, but his delivery overall, I think, is what sells it. And even just eating that Superman punch, him and Bronson Reed like beating up on Roman, Jay coming out for the save. Looks like we're setting up this tag team match that's more than likely going to be happening at SummerSlam. I'm here for it, and I'm really hoping next week we get something with Jay and Roman kind of interacting, because I think one thing we're missing from that team is Roman kind of fully acknowledging Jay and his accomplishments going forward. But I've set the table a little bit. Drop. Let me know what do you think of this main event segment with Roman, with Paul, the Braun, of course, flanking him and all that. Like, what do you think of everything that went down during this segment?
So I really enjoyed this segment. I know there was a couple of my friends that were watching this event itself, and they're still in that mindset of whenever Roman Reigns is on screen, they just want to turn it off or whatever. But I happen to really like Roman, especially when it comes to who he is now. And I was very curious, like you said, like, okay, what is he going to be doing this time around? Like, there was still a lot of questions that need to be answered, because there was other people a part of that whole entire thing at WrestleMania, and they were still there, and we got those questions answered revolving around them when it came to Seth Rollins and CM Punk. But Roman Reigns, that WrestleMania, that Raw, and then obviously last week was the first time we saw him ever since then. I mean, that's something a lot of people had on their mind when it came to like, okay, what's really going on here. And I like how, Roman came out there and he was being upfront about a lot of things, because sure, there could have been like a couple moments that Paul was there to really help him out, because it's not like he completely like forgot about like how he got there when it came to this whole journey as the tribal chief when he had the WWE championship, because he acknowledged Solo Sikoa, even though that was a dude that he had beef with. He still acknowledged him. He acknowledged well, he also acknowledged the Usos. He acknowledged Sami Zayn. So it's like he's fully aware of the kind of people that are there to help him get to where he needed to be. And it's pretty interesting that I guess in a way they're trying to like slowly build to that Roman and Braun program a little bit down. A little bit in the future, because obviously we'll get that one-on-one match. We don't necessarily know when that will be, but it definitely feels like that's in the cards, because we have him adapting Roman's like old persona as like the big dog, the one that controls the yard and everything like that. So it's like very interesting to see like how he's using that against him, and how Roman's fully aware of like what he's saying, but he chooses to like completely ignore it, where he's like, oh, your mic wasn't working, you were just saying a whole bunch of garbage and stuff like that, like let me help you out here. Like I like that, little cheese, the moments that we had between all the guys in the ring. I thought that was very well done. Didn't have to be anything like super crazy, but at least you're starting to build to the match and everything, because even with the match itself at SummerSlam, like I don't expect everything to be like completely fulfilled there, because obviously this is the beginning of the story, so you're gonna have several moments of this, especially with Seth out of action. You got to really think like, okay, what are we really gonna do here to help push these guys and everybody else involved. But I like this. I liked how you had Braun Breaker speaking a little bit. He doesn't always speak as much. Now it's becoming more apparent that whenever he has a microphone, it'd be nice to listen and hear what he has to say. And I just like how Roman was speaking some facts to him too, because I mean the stuff that Roman was saying, where he's like, look at this guy and everything, he's gonna get you to a certain point, he's gonna drop you like a fly, and he's gonna move on to the next one. I mean, one person that completely predicted the future of Roman Reigns was Cody Rhodes, when Cody says, you're gonna be a tribal with, you're gonna be a cheap no tribe, the Usos gonna leave you, Solo Sikoa, you're gonna lose your wise man. I mean, all of that happened. So it's pretty much like Roman delaying the message. It's like, yeah, this guy's here for you now. He's going to get you where you need to be. But as soon as he finds another opening for somebody else, he's going to backstab you and move on. Pretty much what happened with Roman and Punk at WrestleMania. So it's like, I mean, you can't really argue with that, because that's been a pretty common theme with Paul Heyman throughout his entire career. But I really like how, there's some continuity here when it comes to these guys, when it comes to the things that was brought up from the past, to just have it be in the air when it comes to this whole entire program with them. And I like how you got Roman and Jay involved now. Next step you got to really do is just build on that relationship between both guys, see if we can revisit that whole thing at Roman and Jay. Like, sure, they're cool right now, but maybe we'll get a couple moments here and there. But I do like how Jay's involved here to give him a little something to do at SummerSlam.
Yeah, same here. And I like too how Roman, he made it a point to be like, the bloodline wasn't just any regular faction. Like, we weren't just some wrestling group or anything, Paul. We're family, and that means more than just being a group. Like, I forgot what the actual line was, so I'll be paraphrasing here, but basically, like, you didn't make us, God did. Like, God made the bloodline, not you. And if anything, you were brought into this family. You were a found family, if you were, which, he didn't really fully dismiss that. He was just like, we brought you in as more than just an acquaintance, as more than a business partner. It's just, when you deal with Paul Heyman, you got to be ready for the inevitable betrayal. I mean, just ask anybody who's been around Paul Heyman, even CM Punk. Like, even Punk had to deal with Paul turning on him and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just like how we hearkened and kind of hit on that point too. And I mean, the day will come eventually when Braun kind of faces that too. And he's going to have to deal with that. Like, we're already planting so many seeds for Braun Breaker's dissension from this group. Like, we had that a few weeks ago with him and Seth, where he's just like, I don't really want people to think that I can't beat, I think it was Sami he was about to face. Yeah. He was like, I don't want people to think that I can't beat Sami without any help, because he had Karrion Kross earlier in that night attack Sami with that lead pipe, and we're going to be diving into this story where it's like, does Braun Breaker really want to take these easy way outs, or does he want to be this opportunistic person? Like, is that really what Braun Breaker is, or is he just an unpredictable badass, as they like to say on commentary? Like, what is Braun Breaker then? And I think we're going to be diving into that a little bit. Like, who is this guy? Like, we've already seen that he's a loyal guy. I mean, again, Roman called Paul a dumbass 3 times in this promo segment, and each time Braun Breaker was looking very pissed off. At one point, Roman even said, "Hey, back off, kid, or else, I'm gonna beat you up and all that." Which, I mean, Roman still does, gives him a good old Superman punch. But yeah, I just like where we're starting with all this. And yeah, like you said, this is only the starting line for them. When we get that inevitable one-on-one, I mean, they could do it in France. Like, that is a big enough show, I think, especially with an international crowd. That crowd would be smoldering hot for that match. Like, it would be really fun just to be in that environment, or even just like listening and watching that environment just explode when that match happens. But that might be a little too early too for that, but we'll have to see what WWE's cooking right here with Roman and Braun and all that. But I I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to that? Because, like, again, like I think we still got a little bit more to kind of build with all this. I mean, I know we only have one other Raw left before SummerSlam, which is crazy to think about with all these other events that have been going on. But I mean, we can still add stuff next week. We could probably add some stuff throughout the week with like social media and all that, I'm sure. Yeah, anything else you want to add with this? Anything that like maybe sticks in your mind or like really sparks like a thought beyond what we've discussed right now?
Other than that, really, I mean, we'll probably just have to wait and see what happens next week, leading up to
Hmm.
the event itself. That's honestly like all I can really say about that because I feel like what we got here was, nice to have for like the starting point of it. And I feel like everything will probably take off like the following Monday to see what's going on with that.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. My early prediction, I mean, it should be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I'll say that,
Mhm.
but I also know that it's SummerSlam. That's a big event for WWE, and much like WrestleMania, they do like their baby faces to win at these big events.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, that's just an early prediction from here. We'll see how next week kind of plays out when it comes to that. But of course, we have one title match already set for SummerSlam. We have the World Heavyweight title on the line. Gunther taking on CM Punk. Uh, Kind of a basic promo
Yeah.
from here because I mean, both guys are basically just here to prove who's the best in the world. I mean, Punk starts the night off. He does his kind of typical shtick when he starts the night off, being like, "Oh, boys, it's so great to be here in Houston, Texas," and all that. He runs down the gauntlet match, saying how he won it. Now he's going to be facing Gunther again. They're both looking to see who is the best in the world. I mean, Gunther comes out, shower of booze and all that. And I don't know, it was just kind of a basic promo. Like you would think there would be a little bit more bite, especially with like CM Punk involved, but I'm I'm not really sure why this segment was the way it was. I mean, you would think there would be just a little bit more with it. I don't know. I could be alone in that, but like I want more when they're doing promo work like this. And I mean, maybe we'll get more next week, but I think we really could have started something a little deeper this week or a little bit more. I can't think of the right word for it, but what about you, Drop? Am I alone in this sentiment, or did I miss something? What do you think of just like this beginning promo for Monday Night Raw?
I'll probably have to say the same thing. Like, I didn't think
Hmm.
having them both there was bad. I just wanted a little more. I think more on Punk's end because I feel like that's what
Yeah.
I wanted to see a little bit more of because we know how he is whenever he's in the ring with a promo. You don't really have to worry about what he's gonna say. He's a master at this thing at this point.
Hmm.
So it's like when I saw him starting off the show and then Gunther came out, I was like, okay, we're gonna have a little promo set between the both of them. They're gonna go back and forth. the only thing I really wanted, like I said, was a little bit more from Punk. That's why I was a little
Yep.
surprised here that we didn't really get much out of Punk here. Like, sure, he said his little thing in the beginning before Gunther came out, but I wanted to see, when Gunther was talking to him in the ring, I wanted to see, okay, what it was Punk gonna say to like fire back at him and say something in return. That's what I really want to see, because this right here feels like Gunther's like first true challenge, and that's no disrespect to the people that he came in contact before when he was world champion. This legitimately feels like a legitimate opponent for him this time, because me and you know how CM Punk is. Like, that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
final boss characters in WWE that you get put up against. Like, if you really want to move the needle and go up the next level, if you want to like, go up against this final boss and beat him, and you got to go through Punk. That's kind of like the next hurdle for Gunther if he wants to really grow as a performer in this industry. So it's like, I mean, they could have gave us a little something with Punk here, because I noticed me and you weren't the only ones that said that. Like, I noticed JD said that as well. He wanted to see
Mm-hmm.
something from CM Punk. A couple other mutuals of mine, even friends that aren't on Twitter that watch the product, and we pretty much commentate like whenever the program's going on. We all were like, it just felt like a little odd that Punk wasn't given like a little bit more screen time. I don't know if that was done by design because they wanted Gunther to have it or anything, but I feel like since they have their match next week, I feel like, I mean, it wouldn't have hurt to like throw a bone at Punk and have him say a little something there. It just felt odd because you normally see that with him all the time. It's not like always like the guy talks and that's it.
Yeah.
He always chimes in.
Yeah, like he always seems to have the last word in a promo battle, and it's just weird how like Gunther kind of ended it, and that was it. Like not a huge stare off either. Like not both men like wanting to kind of destroy each other. It was just like, all right, here's a promo. We're gonna prove who's the best. It's like, all right. I mean, yes, you got the baseline of a wrestling match in there. That's cool, but you got to give us a little bit more, especially with who's involved. Like we know Punk can go on the mic, but Gunther, it just, I don't know. It feels like they keep trying to nerf Gunther in a way, especially like on the mic. Like I don't know why they're kind of doing this to him. I mean, I know there was a report that came out like maybe a week or two ago where like Triple H really likes Gunther, but apparently like other executives aren't really big fans of him. Like he's not really clicking with a lot of the higher ups apparently, which maybe I get. I don't know. Like he's very old school in some of his approaches, but it's like he's not bad. First of all, he's not bad in the ring. He's a freaking monster in the ring.
Yeah.
And I mean, on the mic, he is pretty good. When you give him the right material, he can be really devastating on the mic.
Oh yeah.
So it's just surprising how like the start of all of this is just eh. It's just eh.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no, it just felt like there could have been like more meat here when it comes to them,
yeah.
and it's like I said, I'm not like saying the segment was bad or anything, because I felt like what Gunther did in that
No.
moment, that was needed to really help sell this match. It just, the only little nitpick or the little criticism, if you want to like throw it in there about the segment itself, is just, I mean, it needed more CM Punk, really.
Mhm. Yeah. So I don't know if they told Punk, hey, you're not going to be talking much here or what. I really don't know. Maybe they had to cut some stuff for time just to make sure. Because like that's the thing. Roman stuff at the end went like a good half hour. Uh, like half
Yeah.
hour, 20 minutes or something. Like that thing went long. And I mean, granted, it didn't really drag too much, but you could tell that they were kind of prolonging that final segment there. So I don't know if it's just like, hey, you guys are starting Raw, but you've only got like 5-10 minutes to be out there. So have fun making that work, guys. Do your best and all that. And yeah, we just didn't get what we could have gotten from this, but maybe we could get that next week. Maybe next Monday will be the go home way to make this kind of a more just angry match, I guess. I don't know. Uh yeah, I mean, I'm good with moving on from there because again, we don't there's not much to really dissect from
No.
that. I mean, I hope the match is good because I think Punk really needs another big match this
Yeah.
year to really continue his momentum and all that.
I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't want him to win.
Oh, Punk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nah. Like as much as I love Gunther, I kind of want Punk to win this one too. Like he's definitely an early candidate to win this match. So yeah. Um so that takes care of our headline story. It takes care of our world heavyweight title story, but what about our other stories going on? Because we have plenty of other title matches to go through to set up for SummerSlam and all that. And this one is very interesting in many different ways because when we got announced earlier today that the women's tag titles are going to be on the line between Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez defending against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. This had a lot of people questioning why are we getting this? You know, because just last week we had Bayley and Lyra wanting to just murder each other. The week before, there was the awesome triple threat that they had. And so, like, for the better part of a month, Bayley and Lyra have been very cutthroat on each other. So it's just like, why are we doing this? And there's a short little backstage segment where we find out that like Bayley apparently went to Adam Pierce to get the match since they technically never got their match at WrestleMania. It's like, okay, but you guys also hate each other. Like, what's going on here? I have a thought with that, but I think let's just kind of go into just everything surrounding all of this. So with all this, Becky comes out to the ring because she does have an ultimatum for Lyra. And she basically pulls what Lyra pulled on her. She's like, hey, you can face me for this IC title. Unfortunately, this might be the last time you go for this IC title because if you lose, you're never allowed to challenge for this title again. But the only way that Lyra accepts this is if this match is a no DQ, no count out contest. So Becky cannot escape from the fate. There has to be a winner for the IC title. And of course, Becky goes on saying that Lyra's being very greedy, wanting to be two belts Lyra and all that, which Becky does acknowledge she was two belt Bex and all that, but that was a different time in history and all that. But, however you want to justify a girl, cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, segment ends with Lyra standing tall and all that. Let's start with this segment first. So, this added thing with like a stipulation here, no DQ, no count out. I really like this. I think this is going to be a good way to like not only change up their match because again, like Becky said, this is going to be their rubber match here. So whoever wins this match is the definitive winner here. I can't even say the word definitive today. It's been a long Monday, folks. So yeah, there has to be a winner. So now we can get like some weapons involved. Both ladies can really kind of tear into each other, especially Lyra, because like she's entered that kind of state of mind now where it's just like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win this match. But I have a feeling that we might be getting some shenanigans with this involving another member of the Four Horsewomen. But I'm gonna drop it off to you, Drop. What do you think of this promo segment between Lyra and Becky? The added stipulation of no DQ, no count out, and any just wild and crazy theories on what could happen in this match.
So I like how there's a stipulation because it's like how I mentioned when we started off the show. I like how there's a lot of matches that have stipulations for SummerSlam because it's not like we need it all the time, but it just makes things more interesting, especially when it comes to the sort of rivalry, the two superstars or three or whoever it is. It just makes things more interesting when you like have a stipulation like this where it's pretty much like a no holds barred match right here. So it's like I like that element in there. I think that's very good. I think it's needed for the feud, especially since I personally believe this is like the send off here when it comes to Becky and Lyra. Seems like, well, we actually predicted it would more than likely be the deadline at SummerSlam when it comes to two of these ladies. And I also like, you know, the whole back and forth between the two. I like how you know, Lyra is getting like self-aware, because even she was self-aware about that thing me and you saw online earlier about the tag match happening. She's like, what? Then she's quote tweeting somebody in the comments saying, why is this happening? I mean, there's no correlation here. So it's like, I like how she's self-aware here. I like how Becky is, you know, trying to be Becky, get under her skin, trying to make her bow down to her again, kind of like how she did when she won the title and everything. So it's like, I thought that was cool in itself. And yeah, like that's basically like my thoughts like on all of that. And when it comes to like what you mentioned about there being shenanigans involved when it comes to Bayley, I can definitely see that, because I mean, as of now, Bayley's not really on the card. You want to factor her into something. I mean, this is definitely the way to do it. It just depends really what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I could. There's part of me that could see like a 2-woman power trip coming from this. Uh, I mean, Bayley and Becky could work together pretty well, at least like in this weird mindset of like, okay, well, you have a role model, and then you have somebody that is looking to be like bring out the best in all of these people. Like Becky keeps saying that she keeps bringing out the best in Lyra, and that she's putting her in the spotlight and all that. So like you could really do something with these two, maybe teaming up and again being like a 2-woman power trip and all that. I mean, we've seen it before with, you know, in the past. I mean, again, the whole 2-man power trip with like Triple H and Stone Cold back in the day. I mean, say what you want about his heel turn and all that. It was still like a moment and all that with him and Triple H just teaming up and running roughshod all over WWE. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming Bayley's got a plan, because there's got to be some other reason besides wanting that match that you didn't get at WrestleMania on a random Raw, like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before Lyra has a big match for the IC title. Like, nah, that Bayley's plotting something.
Yeah, especially
and
especially since she's ignoring everything that Lyra was saying backstage.
Yeah,
because what she said makes sense. It's like, why would you want this after us having all these matches and we don't like each other right now? Like, it makes a lot of sense, because me and you said that when we saw it online. They're like, why is this match being booked?
Yeah. Like, why is this a thing? It should not be a thing. But I was at least open-minded enough to be like, okay, you know what? I'm confused as to why this is happening.
Yeah.
But how are they going to explain it? And I mean, they didn't fully explain it tonight, but they at least gave us enough to kind of speculate on what could happen.
Yeah.
Which is always good too.
So you think we might get a heel turn out of Bayley soon?
We might. I feel like we might. Because that's the other thing too. I mean, kind of transitioning into the match itself with, you know, the tag titles on the line. Bayley was getting boos.
Yeah.
Like
Lyra's
she
really
was
over too.
Yeah, like which is kind of crazy to think about, like just in this day and age, because like a lot of people do like Bayley, but the fact that she was getting booed at one point, and even commentary even mentioned it, they're like, yeah, the crowd doesn't even know what to make of this new Bayley and all that, which are good. We're incorporating the crowd and all that, as you should. Perfect, great. But yeah, so basically the story of the tag match is just the fact that Bayley and Lyra just can't really communicate. They can't really cooperate as a team. Like there was one part where Bayley like had to motion a lot for Lyra to get in there for like a double suplex onto Raquel, which ended up getting reversed anyways. Uh, yeah, so like that's just been the whole story throughout this whole match. Dom tries to run interference, even though he's got quote unquote injured ribs, which we find out later they're not really injured anymore. But
Nope.
we'll talk about that later. Yeah, so like with all these distractions going on, the last distraction to happen is Becky coming out and just slamming Lyra into the steel steps, taking her out for the rest of the match. Bayley does try to fight back, but unfortunately she eats a Tejana bomb after Raquel had tagged herself in. The Judgment Day hold on to those women's tag team titles. They're going to be facing Charlotte and Alexa at SummerSlam. I think the match itself was fine. You know, again, we're telling the story of, you know, Bayley and Lyra just can't get along and all that. But I mean, the action in ring itself was fine. And I mean, obviously, I think the right team won.
Yeah.
You can't really switcheroo like that, even though Lyra, because that would mean Lyra's doing double duty, which would kind of telegraph Becky winning, if not make Becky kind of look a little worse, losing to somebody who had already had a match prior to that night or the day before or whatever. But and that's not saying, oh, Becky's buried. It's just like, nah, just kind of she kind of loses like a level or two if that were to happen. Um yeah, I mean, again, the match is fine. I thought it was good. What did you think of the match itself, and just like some of the storyline implications going forward with it?
So it's funny that you brought that up because there was actually 3 different storylines being worked on in this match itself when it comes to AJ and Dom, and then you got Lyra and Becky, and you also got, you know, what's currently going on with Liv and Raquel. So I thought that was an interesting element that they threw in here. But I really did like this match itself. I actually really like this match because they're very competitive here. They're working well together. I liked how, you know, Lyra and Bayley were working with one another, even though they said they didn't really like each other at all. I still liked how they were able to push that to the side for the match itself in order to, like, you know, give us some nice tag team action when it came to the cooperation of, like, you know, the tag team moves they were using towards their opponents to really take them out. So I really did like this. I thought they fought really hard here. So I'm hoping this rhythm is consistent, especially once we head into SummerSlam next week, because now you got Charlotte and Alexa that Raquel and Roxanne are going up against. So, you know, that's going to be another, like, a big challenge for them, considering that they're going up against 2 former world champions. So I am actually very curious to see how that match turns out. And and also, like, the thing that we saw with AJ and Dom, I thought that was, like, very well done. Like, we'll obviously talk about that in the next segment, but I thought that was really well done, the way that it was implemented there, because I was like, okay, you know, there was a little part of me, I kid you not, where I thought there was a slight chance they were actually switching titles. Like, I'm not gonna say I didn't sense that. I'm only saying that just because of the shenanigans at the end. But then once everything came together, I was like, okay. Because I thought, like, they were gonna do something like that, and I'm like, wait, why would you do that? Because that doesn't really make any sense. Because, you know, they did that whole thing where it's like, oh, okay, I actually thought that, you know, since Dom is out, you know, Raquel was gonna get knocked out, and then, I don't know, Bayley was gonna do Bayley to Belly or whatever it was. But then once Becky came in there, I'm like, okay, you know, that's not happening. And then we were gonna have the 2 ladies retain their titles. So that's my initial thought heading into this match. It's just, you know, the little source of trickery that they do a few sometimes when you're watching the match hit me when I was watching this one. But, like, all in all, I did enjoy the match itself, and I, like I said, like the little element that they added where they were building on other storylines across the show as well within this match itself.
Yeah, just like intertwining storylines again, you know, because you have the whole Live stuff, which again, kudos to commentary, especially Corey Graves putting over just Liv's involvement and what kind of happens. I love how with Corey Graves, he had mentioned, yeah, the Judgment Day are on top right now, and I'm being just an unbiased journalist right here. Even though you need to, um, yeah, basically like, uh, shoot, where did my mind go with that? Um, Shoot, now I'm drawing a blank. Oh my god. Again, the Mondays, everybody. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, with Liv. So it's like, Liv's gone. The whole Judgment Day is draped in gold now. And yeah, you kind of have to put two and two together right there to be like, oh, maybe Liv was the problem in the group, or maybe they just did need to listen to Finn. If Liv was involved, maybe she should have just listened to Finn more. So we're building up very nicely for like Liv's return within Judgment Day, and like what can happen beyond just her return and this moment right here. And of course, you got the stuff with like the IC title, with AJ and Dom, and of course the women's IC title with Becky, Lyra, and Bayley and all that. So like seeing where things can go from there. We're also seeing like Raquel and Roxanne like continue to improve their teamwork with each other. Like this was just a good match, kind of showcase a lot of what makes WWE storytelling really good. you
Mhm.
know and I mean, I guess we could just kind of use this to kind of transition into the whole aspect of the IC title, because all night. So I love this because, like, for weeks now, AJ's been kind of just like trying to get into the mind of Dom and just kind of keep teasing him and keep being like, okay, hey, are you cleared yet? Are you cleared to compute yet? Are you cleared yet? Are you cleared yet? And this week may have put the icing on the cake, because this man AJ went from being a valet, like he was covering a lot of roles tonight. He went from being a valet to a janitor to becoming a doctor. Like this man was getting around tonight. He was he was trying to earn some extra money and all that, I think. But yeah, so like the whole through line with this story right now is just the fact that Dom is injured, or quote unquote injured, and he has to defend his title, obviously, and he's got to defend it at SummerSlam. He's got to get uh cleared by the WWE doctors before being able to be on the card. And if he's not able to, Adam Pearce is going to take that title away from him. I'm sure there are um where is it going with that? God, it is. Ooh, my brain is not working tonight at all, everybody. I thought these segments were a lot of fun, with AJ just constantly being just coming out of nowhere, especially the janitor moment with him like mopping the floors. He's just like, "Are you cleared yet?" Well, you haven't until I'm done mopping the floor and to be cleared and all that. So yeah, hurry up, buddy. Like, get a move on and all that. It's just a lot of fun because AJ, he can go in the ring. He kind of deserves to have a little bit of fun. And yeah, I had fun with it, especially when he became a doctor. He was just like, "Oh, I gotta give you CPR," and just literally just like pushing the chest, like almost like punching Dom just to get him to breathe again and all that. I don't know, just a lot of fun. But Dom was cleared for SummerSlam. They're gonna have a match for the IC title. Go ahead, lay it on me. What'd you think of just like the setup that we got tonight and from the past couple weeks, and how this is finally confirmed for SummerSlam?
So I am happy that this match is finally confirmed for SummerSlam. So at least we know what's going on with it moving forward. So I am happy with that. And I honestly feel like AJ deserves the win whenever that match happens. But obviously we'll talk about that next week for our predictions and everything once we get more stuff added onto this. But yeah, I mean, it's been entertaining all the way through these past couple weeks when it comes to, him playing a valet, playing a janitor, playing a doctor. In the previous match itself, he's just been doing a lot of different things, and I feel like he's putting a lot of effort into it. He's probably having fun with it as well. And I honestly just want to see the dude with a title again, which honestly, I mean, I understand, you know, Judgment Day's doing a pretty good thing right now with all of them having titles, but I mean, come on. I feel like Adam Pearce had a point backstage. You're not really doing anything with that title. So it's almost like that moment with Dom at WrestleMania was just a moment in itself. It wasn't going to extend beyond that, which I was going to give it the benefit of the doubt to see if it were to go somewhere, but it really hasn't. So it's like, I mean, give it to a guy like AJ, not going to be there that much longer. Like, I know I'm speaking a conversation ahead for our scheduled programming, but I mean, I can't lie and say that he deserves that title after putting all this work into selling this match.
Oh my God, yeah. And just the prospect too, because I know a lot of people have been wanting this and wanting it especially in Paris.
Yeah.
AJ versus John Cena again. You want to talk about another little title that John hasn't won yet?
Oh, there you go.
IC title.
Yeah.
IC title, have him and AJ have a belter of a. I mean, as much as of a belter as John Cena can have at this stage of his career, but just have them have a belter at freaking Paris, and oh my gosh, just the spectacle alone will be great.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ can really kind of carry the match a bit to make it a good contest. Um, yeah, I'm just excited we're finally getting the match. We'll see what happens, with next week and the match itself, whichever day that's gonna be at for SummerSlam. All right, let's get into what our main event match was, because oh boy, this was not announced before this, but we are getting Iyo Sky taking on Stephanie Vaquer yet again. We got to find out who is the better woman, who is basically the alpha woman in a way. I mean, I know Rhea's still there and all that, but we got to figure out who's better, Iyo or Stephanie. And this is only egged on because Naomi was in the back and she walked up to Stephanie Vaquer and she's just like, "Oh, great. I would love to face you at Paris, but maybe you should focus on beating Iyo first, since I beat her for the title and all that. But maybe you should work on trying to beat Iyo, because last time you faced her, she kind of mollywopped you everywhere." And it's like, oh, I mean, I remember the contest being a little more even at that point, kind of like what tonight's was, because oh my gosh, tonight's was great. I think one positive from all this, because like Io's known as like the genius of the sky and all that, but I think the best thing about this match was just reminding people just how good Iyo is on the ground. Like some of the counters she was putting out was really good, and it's just like the way she moves around the ring with somebody else
Yeah.
is really good. Like she knows how to maneuver her body. She knows how to like make her opponent look good with whatever moves they're trying to pull off. Like this match itself was just no exception. It was just really good. And of course, we don't find out who's the better of the two, because out come the Secret Service and Chelsea Green to ruin everything, along with Naomi at a point. She helps out to even the odds a bit with them, and of course Rhea comes out to even more odds, because triple threat match, we got to have all three women involved in something, some way, shape, or form. uh yeah, lay it on me. What'd you think of the match, man? Like, again, I thought this was a really good contest between these two, and just like reminding everybody just how good both women are, and just how good it is to have a dance partner that can really make you look good. But lay it on me, Drop. What you think of the match?
I thought the match was great. It's hard to argue when you have both of these ladies in the ring. They know each other very well. We saw them work with each other the first time. They did really good there. So I was happy to see them run it back, and it was a nice surprise to have here, to have another match with both of these ladies to really see how things were turning out this time. So I like how they had a little time to cook. They had a little bit more time to, give us something that we didn't really get to see that time, the last time that they went head to head with one another. So I really did like that. And the other thing that we saw in the back when it came to that little tension between Stephanie and Naomi, and then obviously getting a little moment between Stephanie and Iyo was really nice as well, especially with Io's expressions. I thought that was really nice as well. And I mean, like, I get Naomi's whole stick when it comes to her, like, being the super crazy girl that has like all these different kinds of traps in her arsenal, but part of me thinks that she doesn't know what she's messing with, especially when it comes to Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, she's bumping heads with a lot of people that are
Yeah.
the kind of people you don't really want to bump heads with, like Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, Iyo Sky. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the match itself. Really nice.
Yeah, it just kind of sucks that it did end in DQ because
Yeah.
again, we didn't get the definitive winner, which sucks. But I'm wondering though if we got this because Io's not getting the title at SummerSlam, or if we're just using this as a storyline progression for that clash in Paris, pun intended too with that, that clash in Paris between Io and Stephanie Vaquer. Like, are we just gonna continue to kind of build that up as well? I mean, I really don't know. I don't have that kind of money and all that, but yeah, it just kind of sucks. It ended DQ. Like a good match like that just ends in
Yeah.
a disqualification. But I mean, is what it is, I guess. But yeah, that's really all I've got. I mean, because we're still using this to also, like, this is another thing too. We're building up multiple stories because, like, there's the whole stuff with like Stephanie Vaquer with Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest. There's stuff with like the triple threat match, which kind of ties into this as well, with Stephanie Vaquer being the number one contender for Clash at the Castle, because she'll be watching this match, this triple threat go down, and basically studying it, whether it's Io that wins it, whether it's n- uh Naomi that wins it, or Rhea Ripley that wins it. Like, Stephanie Vaquer is going to be ready for any of you guys at Paris, and at least we got the seeds planted for Vaquer versus Naomi. We haven't done any much recently yet with Vaquer and Rhea and all that. So I'm assuming we're getting some of that next week to at least see the visual of those two kind of staring off with one another. Um, but yeah, I was already hyped for the triple threat match,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one just made me even more excited.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just seeing the match happen, I mean, that's probably one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most heading into SummerSlam. So
hmm
honestly, can't wait for that.
It's also a match that, like, I could see either one of them winning and be totally satisfied with it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure IWC will love to hear that and be like, "Oh, but Rhea Ripley, or should I say, Rhea Hogan." It's just like, guys, shut up. Rhea will be fine if she held the title, because like the
Yeah.
prospect of her versus Stephanie Vaquer is something I could really dig into. And this current Naomi against Stephanie Vaquer is also really good and could be something to really sink your teeth into. But I mean, the top two ones to win are Io and Rhea, at least in my book.
Agree.
Mm. But from one banger of a match to another banger of a match, because we have big meaty men bumping meat next between Sheamus and Rusev. Big old hoss match, very very similar to the match they had, like, I think it was like a couple weeks ago. um I think I preferred this match a little bit more. It felt like they were doing a little bit different spots and all that. They were kind of hitting themselves a little harder too. There was one moment where Sheamus was sitting on the top rope and Rusev just like chopping his chest,
Yeah.
and you just see like the sweat just like kind of cloud off of Sheamus. Like these guys were leaving it all out there. Sheamus breaking out of the Accolade, that that was a good spot, a good moment there. Just kind of proving that Sheamus is still strong as hell, and Rusev really had to kind of dig deep to even keep most of that lock on. Um, yeah, so like the closing stages of the match, I mean, Rusev tries to hit Sheamus onto an exposed turnbuckle again, but that actually ends up biting Rusev in the ass because he ends up eating the exposed turnbuckle, and then he gets a nice little dose of a bro kick. 1, 2, 3. That's the end of the match. I'm assuming we're going to be getting a rubber match. I would like that at SummerSlam. But that's just me with that. What you think of the match though, Drop?
I honestly, I, I would have to say this match itself, as I expected heading into it, it was going to be a banger. It's kind of hard to argue with these two guys, especially at Rusev, because this is kind of what I wanted to see from him from the very beginning, and that was something that we did talk about when Rusev came back. We wanted to see him get more involved when it comes to people that are, I mean, like Sheamus to get in the ring with, like, people like a Braun Breaker or a Bronson Reed, having matches when it comes to people at that, like, similar build to him. This is the kind of things that I wanted to see, because this at least lets people see what Rusev is capable of doing, like what else is in his arsenal besides going up against, Taizawa and all these other people. And I really enjoyed the first match they had. I also enjoyed this one as well. They definitely, tore the ring apart, and Sheamus was able to get his W out of this. And Sheamus was even teasing online, maybe we could potentially get a third match here. And knowing how we do have SummerSlam on 2 nights, I mean, hey, you might as well just have the third match there. Because I was looking on the SummerSlam card, they only announced 9 matches so far. So there's obviously going to be, I would assume, if it's similar to WrestleMania, probably around 14 matches or so. You can have 7 on one night, 7 on the next. So I would assume, I mean, hey, throw this on here, see what you can make out of that, because it would be a nice undercard match just to have, a match where these guys just want to rip each other's heads off. So I wouldn't be against that at all whatsoever. But I thought this match did its job, what it needed to do, and I mean, putting it on a PLE, hopefully, if that is in the cards, would be nice.
Yeah, it would be really nice and all that. So hopefully we get that rubber match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will get a stipulation, because then you kind of run that idea of like, oh well, now every match is a stipulation match. Like you could still do a normal match between these two, and they're professional enough to really make it feel special, especially with that rubber match kind of feel to it.
Oh yeah.
WO versus the Creed brothers. Now, I'm kind of surprised that the War Raiders weren't part of this, because we did see them talking to Adam Pearce. I think it was like last week, where like they were talking to him. They were kind of throwing some shade at New Day, but like they were trying to talk to Adam Pearce about like, I guess getting them another title shot and all that. So like I'm surprised that this was either just a strict number one contenders match between these 3 teams, but I don't know. Whatever. Cool, neat, awesome. Creed show out very early, showing their strength and all that. Tag to the New Day. Oh, well, actually, no. Correction. There were no tags to other teams, because it seems like they're doing this thing where it's like all 3 competitors from each 3 teams are in the ring at the same time. So it's like, oh, so we're doing that for the triple threat, but for the fatal 4-ways, you have to tag in another team or your own teammate and all that. Like, okay, I guess. Fine, whatever. But again, Creed's taking on the early advantage. New Day, they're pulling out some heel work and all that, some goofy heel work on top of that. But the LWO, they're taking the brunt of a lot of the offense in this match. But off the hot tag, Joaquin Wilde basically goes wild on everybody. He pulls out some innovative offense. Like there was one point where I think it was Julius. He had Xavier like in position for a DDT, and then Joaquin Wilde just comes back and just like grabs him by the neck and like takes him down, but he also like does a DDT onto Xavier. Like spots like that are really cool and really fun to watch. Um, and as you know, as the LWO are trying to like pull this all together, pull this big win out comes El Grande Americano. Now
Oh
he
boy.
had a he had a little spat with Dragon Lee in the back, which you know what? You speak some dang good Spanish there, El Grande Americano. Very very proud of you, buddy. You know, you're a bilingual dude and you're ready to win championships and all that. But of course, he's got Dragon Lee in front of him, got to take him out and all that. Ivy Nile does get involved as well, but not as much as El Grande Americano did. And uh LWO, they're able to overcome these huge insurmountable odds against the New Day and become number one contenders. So I was actually kind of shocked that the LWO won. I thought like this would have either gone back to the New Day to be like, oh look, we're gonna have our rematch now. Can't get away from our rematch. So I kind of almost thought that LWO were just in here to take the pin, but no, they won. So great, awesome. Put this on the PLE then, please. Uh, so what do you think of this number one contenders match?
I mean, I'll be honest. It's really hard for me to care about the World Tag Team titles on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, yeah,
So whenever I see it like scheduled for a match or something, I mean, I try to give it a chance just to see where it goes because I don't want to just jump in there and not really, focus on what's happening there. But I just really want to see exactly what they're doing with this whole
mhm,
thing because it's like uh, uh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like with the tag titles on both brands, maybe SmackDown's like starting to get back on track a little bit now. But I mean, this match to me, really, just walking into it, I was just curious who was going to come out as number one contender. LWO ended up winning the match itself, and you have them going up against Judgment Day. I would assume if they're not doing it
mhm.
on a Monday Night Raw, I would assume maybe this is on SummerSlam if they want to throw another match on there to make that 14 card if it is going to be a 7-7. But
Yeah,
I feel like the interesting thing that honestly happened here was like, the inclusion with El Grande Marcano and then obviously the stuff backstage that we'll get into as well, which I feel like I
mhm.
have more eyes on now because now we got an official confirmation after like 2 to 3 years that
Yeah,
everything's over and done with them now. So now I'm curious to see like how that's gonna go, which obviously we'll talk about that once we dive into it. But all in all, I mean, at least LWO is getting some time to shine. It kind of feels like they haven't really been able to get that sort of opportunity to really do that. So hopefully, when they have this match at
mhm.
SummerSlam or whenever it's taking place, hopefully they're able to show out and do something fun.
Yeah. Hopefully they are able to do that. And yeah, that's why I want this match at SummerSlam. So that way they have that big stage to really showcase what they're all about. So but chances are this is gonna end up being a Raw match,
Yeah,
like if we
feels
got
like it.
any of the men's tag team titles on SummerSlam, I would probably want the ones on SmackDown to be on there, just because those tag teams are really good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but like to kind of go back with all this, so there was a bit of a backstage thing where the New Day, they're wandering around back there. They're so confused on why things are changing the way they are. Like they make a comment like, "Oh, AJ Styles finally found his calling as a freaking janitor and all that." And like they need some sort of change in their lives. And luckily for them, recently they had befriended a man by the name of Grayson Waller. And apparently, according to him, Austin Austin Theory is out with an injury, which means A Town Down Under is no more. Now, interesting they did this because like I hadn't heard anything about Austin Theory being injured, so there's that part. But the fact that like we just have Grayson Waller just kicking to the curb on Monday Night Raw, and that's our like big old turn with it. Okay, I I don't know. I figured there would have been a little bit more fanfare, especially if this was like a few months or like a year ago, because that's when like all these rumors of them splitting up started happening. Um, so yeah, now that we have the official confirmation, I mean, all right, cool. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are no longer a tag team. I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird how they did it like this. I don't know. Well, drop. What do you think of this backstage segment?
No, I agree as well. It was a little like odd that they did things this way, but at the same time, it's kind of like been odd the entire time the way that they were structuring this entire
Yeah.
thing between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So at the same time, I'm like, well, you gave it to it like this already, so I guess it is what it is right now. But I feel like I have more questions for Austin Theory really more than Grayson Waller. Because if Grayson Waller is going to do this thing with the New Day, I mean, hey, go for it. But I just really want to see like what's the plans for Austin Theory. Like, is he actually injured, or it's just a way of you guys saying he's injured, but you're trying to figure out things behind the scenes of how you're going to implement him into any important storylines or how you're going to structure his character moving forward. Because that
Yeah.
is a common thing that does happen where they take people off TV for a little bit so they can figure out exactly how they're going to implement them and whatever storyline they have next. Because this is the thing about Austin Theory. I personally believe this, and I felt this way for a while, that he has a lot of potential, especially if he were to go down the route as a babyface, because he's a good wrestler.
Hmm.
He's put on many good matches before. I enjoyed his matches. Like, I still remember the match that he had with Seth Rollins for that United States Championship a couple years ago. I
Oh
really
yeah.
I really enjoyed that match. I know he has it in him to really pull it off. And I feel like if anything, he might be a better baby face than heel. Like, sure, he has his little smart talk and everything, but it's like the
Hmm.
crowd was getting behind him. They actually were giving him a reaction instead of dead silence or boos. So I'm
Yep.
wondering, like, is whenever he comes back, is he gonna confront Grayson Waller? Is he gonna take him out? Or is he
You would
just
assume so. You
yeah?
know.
Or is he just gonna go off and do his own thing? Because if anything, he has been off TV for quite some time.
Hmm.
So this could be a nice little soft reset for the guy. So maybe it could potentially work in his favor depending how they structure it. Because I'd hate to see somebody like him, just have all this potential and just, not do anything with it. Because there is some burnout with like several superstars. Because we did see things
Yeah.
with Elena Black as of recent, where she was getting that burnout with wrestling because maybe think
Hmm.
something isn't there at the time and she doesn't know what she wants to do next moving forward. Like, I'm hoping it's not the same thing with him, or he needs some time to figure out what he wants to do. Because I mean, this is just a common theme with the company. Me and you notice there's a lot of people that have potential that they could grow out and become something big, kind of like how Swerve,
Hmm.
when he left the company and he became a big thing in AEW and he's one of their top guys over there. I mean,
Yep.
you got to give the ball to some people and see how they roll with it. Because don't get me wrong, I love seeing Cody and Seth and all of them on screen, but you got to start prepping for the future when it comes to, all those faces, walking out of the door eventually, moving on with their lives. And you got to figure out what's going to carry the company moving forward. So I'm hoping to capitalize on. I'm hoping he's not a side character where he's just taking pins and stuff, because I'm not going to be a fan of that.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. And like we even see the New Day kind of be a little apprehensive with Grayson Waller just kind of injecting himself into the group.
Yeah.
Uh it could lead to some fun dynamics, I guess, but uh, we might have to wait and see with that one. But yeah, I mean that's basically our world tag title picture and all that going forward. We got one more match to talk about. Wait, yeah. Yep. One more match to talk about. Sami Zayn looking to get some revenge against Karrion Kross, who had injured him and kind of finished the job like a couple weeks ago. And I like how in this pre-match segment we have where it was Jackie Redmond interviewing Sammy. She's like, hey, why are you doing this? You're severely banged up. You could be shortening your career by doing this. And I love how Sammy's just like, look, I need to end this Karrion Kross thing. I could have been a number one contender for the world title last week, but unfortunately, this kind of life got in the way. So again, Sammy's just kind of looking to end this Karrion Kross vortex he finds himself in. And despite being hurt, he goes and trucks on through the match. Thought the match was good throughout. I think I like the Saudi match a little better than this one, but that's fine. At least with this ending, it made sense, considering what's been going on here, where Scarlett, she tosses this pipe to Karrion Kross in the ring to hold on to. And then she gets on the opposite apron and starts kind of running some interference and all that. And this gives enough time for Karrion Kross to kind of recollect himself, hit Sammy with the pipe in the midsection, in the exposed ribs, by the way. So doing a little extra damage there. And yeah, Karrion Kross beats Sami Zayn on on a Monday night. So I don't know if we'll get the rematch on at SummerSlam. That it would be cool if we did. I just don't know. This might be one of those stories that, like, will happen on the weekday, like the week leading up, and it's just on that go home episode of Raw. Yeah, what do you think of the match? And I guess like this story going forward with like Cross trying to constantly get Sammy to admit that he's basically just wrong with how he goes about things.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I want to know when we're wrapping that up, because we got the match tonight. Cross won it. I just want to know exactly, like, are we ever going to hear him say why he's wrong, or is there ever going to be, like, the next step of Sammy's character with that, or anything? Because that's like a common theme at Cross. Whenever he gets involved with something, with someone, you see something happen with that said person, and it involves them a little bit differently and everything. So I'm wondering exactly, like, what is Sammy at fault for? Why is he a liar? Is he a liar because he doesn't truly believe in himself or whatever? Like, what is it? Like, I want to know exactly what's going on with that, because that's been the one thing when it comes to Cross and Sammy that I want to know the answers to out of everything. Because heading into this match itself, you look at it on paper, yeah, you might as well give Cross a bone, because I mean, this isn't going to even dent Sami Zayn losing to Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, outside of Drew McIntyre, had his biggest win ever since then, having somebody like Sami Zayn to be. And I do agree with you. I did prefer the Saudi match a little bit, probably more than this one, because this one, if anything, it was Sammy at like 50 HP, like 50% health. So it's like you got the guy banged up, so he's not really in full health to really have like that full-fledged match that they had at that that PLE a couple weeks ago. So it's like the last month, I should say. So it's like I'm just wondering, like, what's next year? Like, when we hit Monday Night Raw, What is Cross gonna say? What's Sami gonna say? Like that's all I really want to know. I just want to know those
Mhm.
questions that are still lingering in the air.
Yeah, same here. I want to know more. I mean, I think commentary did try to get that over where it's just like, oh, uh Cross wants Sammy to admit that he is a bad person, that he is a villain. And I like how Corey Graves pointed out, hey, you can ask any Joe Schmo, oh yeah, Sammy's great, Sammy's awesome. Ask Kevin Owens if Sami Zayn's a great person, all that, especially if they're in that mindset of um oh shoot. This is just the night of me losing track of my own mind. Oh my gosh. Um oh yeah. So ask Kevin Owens about how good of a person Sami Zayn truly is, because yeah, you could say, "Oh, I'm the best person alive," and some people might agree with you, but sometimes it's just like, "Oh, you actually are kind of a piece of shit sometimes," but it takes a lot to make you that kind of a bad person, or it's just, you're just secretly a piece of crap and all that. And that's what Karrion Kross is trying to get out of Sammy, to get him to realize, oh yeah, maybe sometimes I can be a crappy person. Um, and I guess the only other thing too, there were dueling chants for these guys too. There were "Let's go Sammy, let's go Cross" chants during this match, which I thought was really cool. Especially for Karrion Kross. So face somebody like Sami Zayn and get dual chants like that during your time there, yeah, great. Awesome. I love that you're getting these reactions and all that. That only spells more from you, which we
Yeah.
do want more from you. Hmm. Uh anything else to go with this? I don't really have anything else. It's just I'm more curious about how Sammy's going to get out of this Karrion Kross vortex he's in.
Yeah, same. That's honestly the biggest question out of them all here heading into it. It's like,
Mhm.
what's next, Sammy?
Yeah.
How you
Yeah,
gonna find that
are
kitty?
yeah, exactly. Like, how are you gonna climb that mountain? One elephant at a time and all that. Yeah, we'll have to see where this takes Sami Zayn. Maybe this is just all part of his journey towards the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
a Royal Rumble win, and all that. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, that about does it. I think. Yeah. Yeah. No other matches. No quick fire segments to really go through really quick. Yeah, that was Raw. Like, it was a really good show, I thought. Again, on paper, there were some things I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like the whole women's tag title match and all that. Like that was weird, but I am at least intrigued enough to be like, okay, why did we have this and why is this going down and all that? The stuff with Roman and Paul was really good. I do want more of Gunther and Punk. Hopefully we get that next week.
Yes.
Uh yeah, just overall just a very strong Raw. Like probably one of the stronger Raws we've had in a while. Yeah, I'll go ahead and admit that. Yeah, I think it was a really good show. But what did you think of Raw overall tonight, Drop?
So I thought this episode of Raw was very good. Like you said, I liked how we took some time to add more matches to the SummerSlam card. I liked how we were progressing stories, even multiple stories in one match to really flesh things out there. I like how there's some stipulations to matches that made sense when it comes to, whatever we're doing heading into SummerSlam. I
Mm-hmm.
am very intrigued to see like how things are going to be moving forward once we get there, because I feel like out of everything, I'm very curious to see like how this SummerSlam is going to be this year, considering it's like the first 2 night SummerSlam, because we never really had
Mm-hmm.
anything like that before. So I'm very curious to see what sort of ideas that they have in store for us. But I thought the stuff
Yeah.
with Roman was good. We haven't heard from him in a while when it comes to stuff between him and Heyman, so you kind of needed those answers. And hopefully we get something more with Gunther and Punk next week, because I mean, Punk just won the match last week and we don't really have that much to really work with. So that would be nice. But
Mhm.
all in all, though, this was a good Raw. I enjoyed it all the way through, and time codes are there if you want to hear me and Watkins' thoughts on each part of the show.
Yeah. So definitely check out the time codes if you're listening to the VOD later on in the day. But of course, if you're here live chatting with us, love you guys so much for all that. Just let us know in the chat how you guys are doing, what you thought of Raw overall. And, again, if you're watching the VODs, let us know in the comments what you thought of Raw overall. And yeah, just give us some feedback too and all that. Again, it's a Monday night show. So, the work week has begun for a lot of us. So the mind is just completely shattered and all that. Yeah, so you know what? I'm just gonna leave it there. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, we have tons of social media accounts. All the links are in the description below. We've of course got Weebs of the Ring. That is our normal handle for all of our social media accounts. You got at Animal We Studio, that is the parent company that brings us all of our fun news from all corners of nerddom and all that. You've got at Drop This Box. You got at Watkins MW. Normally you would have at Legendy Vash here, but he had to take care of some other business that pertains to the company of Animal We Studio and all that. So yeah, be sure to check us all out on the social media platforms and also use the hashtag Weaves the Ring to just interact with us about anything wrestling related or anime, manga, video games related, and all that. I know Drop just literally just dropped a video on Donkey Kong, newest Donkey Kong game that came out. So be sure to check that out. Um, Game looks like a lot of fun. Any anything you want to like highlight from your video, or I guess your time with Donkey Kong, really quick?
So I'll say this, that video does contain spoilers, so be cautious when you head into there. Normally, when
Hmm.
you start off my videos, I have my little intro setting things up when it comes to what we're going to be diving into, and I gave my little spoiler warning there. But I basically just talk about my experience with the game as a whole, the things that I like, to go in depth with certain things on there. So that video that I put out today was pretty much my review when it comes to my experience with the game itself. So I had a lot of fun with that video, and I mean, I highly recommend it. It is one of my favorite video games of all time, top 5 favorite Nintendo games. It is very well done. I thought Nintendo did a very good job pushing the 3D platforming genre in a new direction, which is a common theme with them because they did that with Odyssey, and they definitely upped the scale above
Oh
Odyssey,
yeah.
above Odyssey with this one. So if you're a Donkey Kong fan or you just love 3D platforming like me and Watkins do, I highly
Hmm.
recommend to check out the video once you play the game. Don't go in there blind just because it says Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's definitely
Yeah.
not spoiler free. I definitely gave that warning ahead of time.
Yep. So you've been formally warned on many occasions of those spoilers. So yeah, be sure to check all that out. Check out all the other stuff that Anime We Studio will be producing and letting out this week, like Off the Binge, Anime Lately podcast, and a few other things that might be coming out later on in the future. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, uh, be sure to use the hashtag Weeds the Ring again to interact with us about anything regarding wrestling, anime news, video games, whatever have you. But it's also a great way to show us some feedback, let us know how we can improve the show so we can continue to get better for you, ladies and gentlemen, out there. Weebs the Ring is presented by Animal Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you on Thursday for Grappling with the Week. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.